I'm going to show you 4 different ways you can get your neckline trimmed, how to do it, and which neckline would be best for you. I'm going to start with square. I want to envision how it's going to look square, where my first line's going to be, and how it will look on his neckline. The first step is very important to get this line straight. I am holding the trimmers very gentle with my pinky resting on his shoulders to give me some balance and so that I'm not too heavy-handed. Coming towards the ears, I want to connect that straight line. I'm going to be using a very little pressure and just kind of tapping it. I don't want to cut him if my trimmers are too short, so I flip it upside down to get those extra hairs out of the way, make a crisp line. How you make it swivel is pretty easy. Focusing on the sides of the square and gonna round them a little bit. I'm using light pressure and turning my trimmers and creating more of a round appearance on the sides. That's swivel. Making the hairline either oval or round is going to be the same technique. It's just going to be determined by how much you cut into the corners or the sides of the square. For this demonstration, I'm just going to do it a little bit to make it round. If I had made the neckline a little bit more narrow, it would then be more of an oval shape, but for demonstration purposes, because I still want a little left so that I can taper this neckline, I'm going to round it out. Super important that you're always combing or brushing the hairline. There could be some missed hairs. Moving on to the tapered, I'm going to start with a number 2 guard. And I'm going to have the lever all the way open, so that makes it about a 2.5. I'm doing this to remove bulk, and because it didn't really take anything off, I went with the lever up a little bit, which makes it closer to a 2. I'm just trying to get some of the hair out of the way and make it a little bit easier for me. So now that I took the guard off, I'm completely down to a 0. I'm going to bring that line up just a little bit, not too much, knowing that I'm going to have to continue to fade. I'm moving the lever up now. That's going to make it closer to a 1/2. Now, it's going to be important to be moving the lever up and down through this whole process, especially because sometimes you can miss hairs and you need to go back and go back over it. Now that I've created a good amount of space, I'm going in with just the edges of my clippers. This is gonna help me not create a whole nother line and still be able to fade it a little bit without making too much of an impression on the line above it. So again, just constant brushing and flicking and moving the lever up and down so that I can blend it perfectly. Here I am coming in with the 1. The 1 guard with the lever all the way up is going to be close to a 1.5. I'm going to be doing a big scooping motion, especially because I'm getting towards the round in his head, and I want to make sure that I don't go too high up. So while I am applying a good amount of pressure, I am scooping so that at the end of each flick, it does taper naturally a little bit. So I'm seeing that the 1 needs to go up a little bit higher because it's not quite as even there, so I am going to bring the 1 up even higher. I like to go back over the areas I've already done multiple times in every direction. Hair grows in every direction. You need to be very firm and go at it every way so that you can get out all of the lines. So I have the guards off now, and I am using the clippers just to gently feather into it. I am making the lever go up and down depending on which area I'm in and what I need to shade out. So obviously there is still a big line here, and it is right where the dip is. So I want to make sure that I am executing this properly by keeping in mind that the head does round right there. 1.5 guard on there with the lever open. I always, when I'm fading, go up and down with my levers. If nothing's coming off, then I need to go down some. A good indication is you can hear it cutting. There will be a little buzzing sound when you're going over the hair. I always recommend when you are finding out what neckline works best for you that you go with the most natural to your hairline. Now, tapering isn't going to be always natural to everyone's hairline, but it will grow in a little bit slower, whereas a square or round is definitely going to be a little more noticeable when it grows in. So just keep in mind your head shape and the maintenance that you would like for your neckline. Having the client look down is a good way to know if it's just a shadow or if there's something that needs to be blended. If there's tiny little hairs, using the trimmers, the very corner of them, I find helps to kind of shade out a couple of those random hairs. So it's pretty close to being done. I see a couple of spots that I can clean up a little bit. I don't want to bring his hairline too far up and make it appear like his head is smaller. So I think that this is the perfect place to stop. I think the taper turned out pretty good, and basically the goal is just to make it flow. These are some of the most popular necklines right now, and I hope this helped.